Playing with dolls again, are we?
No. I'm setting up a scenario.
For what?
All right, let me walk you through it. Picture yourself in a hotel room and you're in mortal danger because there's some guys banging on the door who want to shoot you. Now, you can't obviously leave through the normal means like the door. You've got to leave by jumping off your balcony. Unfortunately, your balcony, it's 35 feet above the ground. Fortunately, however, there's a swimming pool below you. Unfortunately, that swimming pool's only 4.5 feet deep.
That could get ugly.
Very ugly. This comes from the show Burn Notice, and what our hero is explaining to the audience as he throws a mattress out the window and into the pool, and then he jumps into the mattress to safety.
So the myth is that if you need to jump into a shallow pool from a height, you should throw a mattress down there first.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
According to this Burn Notice myth, there's no way you could leap and live after a 35-foot drop into shallow water. However, breaking your fall with a mattress could supposedly save your butt. So would a crash landing really leave you with more of a spring in your step than a splash landing?
So how do you want to test this?
Well, clearly the main thing here is to test what it's like to jump onto a mattress in a pool, but we need to compare that to what it would be like just jumping into the pool as well.
Yeah, indeed, and we're going to need a pool that's exactly 4.5 feet deep.
Well, let's get a crane and some dummies and attach some sensors to them and drop them off, see what happens.
That's perfect. Let's do it.
So it's straight to the shallow end at DeFremery Pool in Oakland.
That's a nice pool.
It ought to work.
Let's see if we can get Buster hurt.
Okay.
Where they'll hoist Buster up for this 3-story story.
Turns out one of the most difficult parts of this shoot is just getting the grate all into the pool area. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. This whole story comes down to if you have 35 feet to jump and you've got a pool below you that's only 4.5 feet deep, is it better to jump into the regular pool or onto a mattress floating in that pool? With all the drops that Buster's gonna do, we're gonna wanna make sure we know how hard he's dropping, and that's where this comes into play. This is an accelerometer, and just like a crash test dummy, I'm going to install this in Buster's chest to let us know how many G's he pulls on each of the surfaces we're dropping him on. Behold the guts of Buster, recycled industrial plastic. That's just what I would have thought it would be. If I only had a heart.
With an accelerometer heart to track his impact,
Let's close him up.
the PVC man is ready for the drop.
Only in MythBusters is someone transferred on a stretcher to be dropped off a building.
However, first he needs to adopt the Burn Notice position.
Now in the show, our character states that properly distributing your weight, i.e. landing butt first onto a mattress on the water, is the safest way to jump into the pool.
So Buster will jump butt first. But there's one last thing to set up.
Now we want to get a really nice high-speed shot of Buster hitting the water, even under the water. But there's two problems with that. One is that the high-speed camera we have is insanely expensive, and so are underwater housings for it. So this is my quick shot build of a kind of water protector for the high-speed camera.
Yep, it's one he prepared earlier.
The camera sits in here.
And back at the pool, Adam's got the shot.
This gives us exactly the shot we want of both over the water and what's happening underneath. And the expensive high-speed camera stays dry.
But first up, Buster will take the plunge without a mattress. So what kind of damage will that drop do?
Here we go, Buster. Time to jump into the pool.
Okay, dropping Buster into the water from 35 feet. In 3, 2, 1, go!
That was just as much fun as it seemed like.
Buster took the fall, and his backside took a wallop from both the water and the bottom of the pool. But what does the data say?
So we dropped our dummy from 35 feet straight into the water, and we saw an initial impact of 50 Gs, followed by an impact along the bottom of the pool of 29 Gs. Now 50 Gs is our threshold for potential death. One way or another, you're not walking away from an impact like that.
Yep, there's no walking away from that. But how will it compare with the myth? Can the average mattress...
For our mattress test, we've chosen a standard inner spring mattress. That's this one right here.
really make a fatal flop survivable?
Perfect.
In theory, landing on a soft surface should maximize deceleration, dissipate impact over a longer time span, and reduce the risk of injury. But in practice, will a floating mattress prove soft enough to disperse the impact of Buster's fall from 35 feet?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Nice.
X marks the spot. Buster hit with an audible impact. But did the mattress cushion his tush?
Buster's drop was perfect. And although he might not look like it, according to our accelerometer data, he is a frigging mess. He pulled 86 Gs hitting that mattress, roughly equivalent to a severe car accident. And that was supposed to be the safe jump. It's not looking very good for this story.
It's not looking good because that's a more damaging impact than onto water alone. However,
well, I love our accelerometer data from all these drops, but I can't help feeling like they're not giving us the full picture. I'd love in some way to be able to see what kind of injuries Buster might take from that kind of fall.
I know what you mean. And I might have just the thing.
supposedly a 3-story fall into 4.5 feet of water would get you off on the wrong foot. But if you landed on a floating mattress, could you escape unscathed? Well, so far, Buster took a lethal hit on the mattress and a survivable hit on water.
And that was supposed to be the safe jump. It's not looking very good for this story.
However, to definitively call this, they're going to dummy up something more lifelike.
Remember that I said I had something that was a little better than the dummies we'd been using? We do. Hey, Adam, check this out.
Oh!
Yep, you may remember this disturbing face from the Halloween special.
Are you ready for the horror?
But its role as John Doe hid the Sindabber's real purpose.
To the window!
As an ultra-realistic human analog.
These are surgical training dummies. They're made muscle by muscle, and they're actually sutured in place.
Oh my God. I dare say that it's absolutely beautiful. This is medically accurate?
It is. It's made of a polymer. It's water-based, and everything is as realistic as modern technology can make it.
And its anatomy isn't the only thing that's realistic.
I wish you were here, because it's beautiful and it smells kind of bad, which you'd expect.
Yep, the Sindabber is the closest thing to a human you can get without, well, you get the idea.
Ever since we started doing MythBusters, whenever we wanted to assess the kind of damage the human body would take under the conditions we were putting it under, we've had to use either dead pigs or build rigs that assess the damage body part by body part. A foot, a hand, a head.
It's a delicious memory.
Until now. This thing, the Sindabber, opens up whole new vistas for us in terms of assessing physical damage from our experiments. I'm only just starting to grasp how awesome this is.
But before the Sindabber can take the plunge, Jamie needs to give it a skin. And this shrink wrapping also doubles as waterproofing.
Ready for market.
So with the Sindabber skinned up, it's time to drop it off at the pool.
You feeling ready, buddy? Now, normally we'd be using accelerometers to gather this data, but the Sindabber hopefully will give us some actual injury data about the various conditions under which we'll be dropping this bad boy into the water from 35 feet.
Yep, and that injury data is coming courtesy of this.
One of the nice things about using this particular type of dummy is that with the help of a portable X-ray machine like this device over here, we can actually figure out what happened internally to the dummy without performing the equivalent of an autopsy.
So after a checkup to make sure everything is where it should be,
You can see that the ribs come across. They're all intact. You can see all the cervical vertebra.
it's time to strap up the Sinbuster for its first fall into 4.5 feet of water.
Sindabber into the pool from 35 feet. In 3, 2, 1, go.
A perfect hit.
It's bottoms up for the new Buster. But what kind of damage did that drop do? Well, to find out, it's fished out for a closer examination by both the X-ray and an expert.
Now that we've dropped our dummy, we would really like to get an expert opinion on exactly how much damage they've sustained. And we'd like an expert that deals with this kind of injury every single day, and that's called an orthopedic surgeon. We found one named Dr. Noah Weiss. Dr. Weiss, are you willing to give us a free consult on Buster's injuries?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Let's go take a look.
So one of the things that I noticed right away is that the pelvis appears to be unstable and opened up, which is not surprising considering the impact and be a major injury in a real person.
Well, that's understandable because that's where the dummy hit first, so that took the brunt of the blow.
The pelvis took the thrust of the impact, but the X-ray reveals a much more serious injury.
We can see over here is there's actually been a separation between the lumbar spine and the sacrum. This is a very severe injury that would most certainly result in major spinal cord damage.
Wow, so our dummy's paralyzed.
It's paralyzed.
So our Sindaver, after being dropped into the swimming pool without a mattress in its way, has sustained some very serious damage, a shattered pelvis and a paralyzing spine injury. And if it seems like I'm smiling, I'm only happy that we got some significant results from this dummy. Now, we're gonna drop one into a mattress.
In their previous test with the original Buster, the G-load of the drop onto a mattress was higher. But will that mean that SinBuster 2 sustains more injury by making a bed and leaping into it?
Ready, Adam?
Ready!
3, 2, 1, go!
Perfect hit!
Buster hit the crash pad, and its butt took the brunt. So it's over to Dr. Weiss to find out if the SinBuster's rear is in the clear.
On physical examination, what's immediately apparent is the pelvis is far more unstable compared to the previous Sindaver.
Really?
Yeah, this is completely disrupted.
Wow.
And that's not all. As the X-rays reveal, the mattress jumper sustained far more damage all over.
In addition to a similar injury where he basically blew apart his pelvis, this one also appears to have 2 injuries to his spine, one in the lumbar spine or low back and one in the mid-back or thoracic spine. He dislocated his knee, he dislocated his elbow, and the injury to the pelvis was much worse than in the first Sindaver.
So the mattress was far worse than falling into water.
I think both jumps were a problem, but it definitely appears to be much worse landing on the mattress in the water.
So he's even more dead.
He would be even more dead than the first one.
Is that a medical term?
It is now.
Okay. We have tested this thing 6 ways to Sunday, actually 4 ways and on weekdays, but we have found that yes, jumping from 35 feet is bad into water, but in the mattress, it's like twice as bad. This is a counterintuitive result, which for us is totally awesome.
Yep, both Buster and SinBuster tell the same story. Despite what you'd expect, a mattress doesn't cushion a splash landing. It only makes it worse.
So where would you say this myth stands?
You know, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite, what is it, not right, not...
Truthful?
Ill-conceived?
Ill-conceived, improper, let's say just wrong.
Okay, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
But you know what bothers me is that people have actually been known to dive from that height into shallow water and survive.
I've been thinking about that, and I think what we could do is find someone who knows how to safely jump from those heights into shallow water and have them show us the method.
I think that'd be a good thing to know.
Let's do it.
Okay.
The myth is busted. But is there any way to get the drop on a fall into 4.5 feet of water? According to this myth, by using a mattress to break your fall, you could hit the sack and escape. But in reality, not so much.
He would be even more dead than the first one.
Is that a medical term?
It is now.
Having established that jumping off a 3-story building either directly into 4.5 feet of water or onto a mattress in that water is potentially lethal, It begs the question, what exactly would it take to jump safely from that height and into that depth of water?
So we've come here to the George F. Haynes International Swim Center in Santa Clara, California, where they have a magnificent pool and a platform that sits precisely 3 stories above that pool. And in a little while, Mr. James Franklin Heineman is going to find out what it would take to dive safely from this height. Better him than me.
Given that jumping off a height like that the wrong way into water could seriously hurt you, I'm not about to do anything fancy off of that without some training. Now, luckily, we've got just the guy to do that.
He taught us how to jump off of buildings. He's wrapped us in bubble wrap and thrown us off of buildings. That was intense. His name is Randy Lamb. He's a professional stuntman, and he is tasked today with taking Jamie right to the edge and throwing him off.
Throwing him off and ensuring that his plunge is less than the 4.5-foot depth of the Myth. But first, what kind of depth does the average drop from 35 feet get?
Wow. That was really cool.
I'm screwed.
Randy's jump carried him about 2/3 the depth of the pool, about 12 or 13 feet. It's a lot farther than 4.5 feet, and I have to admit, I'm really curious to see what kind of form his shallow dive takes.
Well, that's what Jamie is about to find out.
So, Randy, what are my options as far as flattening out quickly without hurting myself?
As you're coming down, you want to be right now in a very vertical position. Just as your feet touch the water, I want you to pull them in front of you. Keep your legs straight and pike right here, all right? This position here should scoop you up.
Okay.
All right?
It's a tactic that should slow Jamie down as he enters the water and make his angle of entry shallower.
And how did that feel?
Felt all right.
But with a 3-story dive into the mythical 4.5 feet to come, practice is going to make perfect. So cue the music. We're going to need a training montage.
Lay back, lay back.
Nice. If there's one thing we've learned in acquiring techniques to deal with dangerous situations like this one, is that you need to work your way up incrementally. I feel like I just got spanked. You can't just take instructions that as you're jumping, you're going through in your head, do this, now I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. It all happens so fast, it has to be automatic. And that's what I'm in the process of doing right now, is burning that in so that I don't even have to think about it.
Stay tight, stay tight. Nice.
So graceful, the Heineman in the wild, isn't it?
And before long, Jamie has graduated to the 15-foot height.
He surveys the distance, estimates his trajectory, and he jumps. That was a really good one. Barely heard a sound. Nice work, sir.
Taking it drop by drop. Jamie's gotten his depth to 5.5 feet. And his technique is getting so good that soon...
That was your best one yet. I think you should move up and start practicing from a little bit higher to get comfortable up there.
All right.
It's clear that Jamie is really getting the feel for this. He's going to bump it up a level and try jumping from 22 feet. In fact, if you turn the camera around, you can see man contemplating the abyss.
Contemplating the abyss.
All right, here we go.
But amazingly, as Jamie's jump height increases, his depth decreases.
That was the best one yet.
It looked to me like you pretty much stayed just above the line.
Yeah, if anything, maybe went just a few inches below, but he's really getting it. As Jamie practices and moves to ever higher diving platforms, there's actually a quite interesting reason for which he might get better at decelerating faster as he goes higher. Water resists an impact in direct proportion to the speed of the impact. Carrie Gretton Torrey investigated this in their Water versus Concrete episode.
Belly flop, and
And it definitely applies here. So while he did pretty good at 15 feet, he might be able to actually hit his target at 35. That one was fantastic. That was as good as your best jump from 15 feet.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that one was as good as I got from 15 feet, maybe I'll be able to do just as good from 35.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing to do but keep practicing.
And after a day of jumping in with both feet, that 35-foot fall will have to wait until tomorrow.
So, how you feeling after all that?
Ow.
Sorry about that. Welcome back. We have been attempting to replicate a clip that purports to show a safe way of leaping from 35 feet into a 4.5-foot deep swimming pool. And we've pretty much busted that outright.
So he'd be even more dead.
We are now investigating whether there is any technique at all that can help you safely make such a jump.
Yep, and yesterday, Jamie spent the day getting in touch with his inner aquatic mammal. But it's taken its toll.
I took a lot of jumps yesterday, and by the end of the day, I was in a lot of pain. This morning, I was still in a lot of pain. So I decided to call our orthopedic surgeon and see if there was anything I should be concerned about. And he said that, well, not really as far as the tissue damage or anything like that, but that is a warning sign that I'm taking a heck of a lot of impact in my lower back. And that's an area I really don't want to mess with. So I'm handing it over to our stunt guy, Randy.
Jamie's back is telling him to back out, so cue the stuntman.
All right, Randy, it's all down to you, sir.
35 feet into 4.5.
Okay.
Sure.
I wasn't supposed to jump right there.
I didn't think so.
Full marks for enthusiasm.
Full marks for enthusiasm, and it's clear from this impromptu plunge that he has the technique down. But this time it's for real, and it's a long way from the top with a very shallow landing. Will Randy jump and come up trumps?
All right, here goes the scoop in 3, 2, 1.
Wow. Dude, I think that might have been survivable. Hold on, let's check this out. Dude.
He would have survived that.
I think you're totally right. He would have survived that. He dipped a few inches below the line, but he's so decelerated. That's just a bump on the bottom. That's not an injury.
Yeah.
Randy's the man.
Yeah.
Randy's the man because he's gone one up on the myth. Not only did he take the fall from the same height into the same shallow depth, he made it out injury-free.
Randy, that was beautiful. How did it feel?
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I can understand why Jamie is tender today.
It's certainly not a painless way to land, but it sure beats a shattered pelvis and a broken spine.
Randy just successfully jumped shallow enough that he would have survived a 35-foot jump into 4.5-foot deep water. I have to admit, everything that we tested so far in this story, I was not given good odds for him being able to do that. But I guess 30 years of experience as a stuntman counts for something.
So how do you want to call this?
Well, as far as the clip we started with goes, everything that they described, either jumping into the pool straight or jumping into the pool with a mattress on top of it, is either super dangerous or even potentially lethal.
Yeah, it's busted. Not to say that it couldn't be done, though, at least if you've got decades of experience as a stunt person.
Exactly right. So, don't try this at home. We didn't.
My butt still hurts.